So we'll be going through my experience as a leader, as a teenager as well, and like the intricacies of being a leader and what makes a leader a true leader. So I guess we should start. So just introducing leadership, it's really essential for a society to progress to have a leader, because a leader sets the direction and the vision for an entire society or an organization, and then they help a society or a company operate to achieve that mission, and they use the human resource and the people they have to actually like make their dreams a reality. So that's why the whole concept of leadership and there being a leader of a society, of a group of people, or of a company l- is like essential for that society, that group of people, or that company to succeed. So we'll be going through the foundations of leadership in this section. So what is leadership? It is some people might confuse leadership with dictatorship, because there's a fine line between just giving out orders and actually acting as a real leader. So what leadership is like based around is inspiration, guidance, and influence. So you're not just giving out orders like a boss, you're inspiring your team members and your peers through what you do, your actions, and not just words. So the thing is that आप अमली नमूना हैं अपनी टीम या फिर अपनी जो भी आपके सब्जेक्ट्स हैं जिनको आप लीड करें, जिनके आप लीडर हैं, जो भी पॉपुलेशन है जिनको आप लीड करते हैं, तो उनको अपने अपने एक्शंस के थ्रू दिखाना है कि या दिस is who I am, and I'm a leader, and I'm not just going to dictate, but I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to inspire you, and I'm going to influence you through actions. If someone faces a difficulty in a challenge, yeah, if someone does not know how to do something. So it's the job of a leader to at least give them some cues on how they can learn to do that, or just like kind of teach them as well, and then enable them, and not just give out orders or just, you know, tell them ke agar aap ye nahi kar sakte to why are you here. So the whole concept of leadership is surrounded by mostly being able to communicate well. And then in communication, a lot of things like communicating correctly, fluently, efficiently comes in play as well. So some of the core traits of great leaders involve emotional intelligence, resilience, adaptability, and vision. So what emotional intelligence means is that, one, the individual, the leader themselves are, self-aware. They know who they are. They know what they want to become in the future, and they know what their past was, and they have figured it out, and they use all of these three tenses to their benefit. And how they do that is like, some people, if their past has, done them no good, so what they do is they succumb to their emotions, and they just let those feelings drive them down. But an emotionally intelligent person would use those setbacks to their advantage by learning through them, by learning through their past, and then use them in the present to live the present fully in order to have the best future. Because as they say, if you want to have a good future, what all you need to do, like all you need to do is just have the best present you can. Like अगर आपके आपको अगर एग्जाम्स की बात करें, so if you want straight A's and like 4 out of 4 GPA, so and you're anxious because आपके एग्जाम्स आ रहे हैं सर पे and आपकी कोई तैयारी नहीं है, so the best thing that you can do in the present would determine the best possible future for you. तो आपके लिए सबसे बेस्ट रूट क्या होगा? It would be like studying for your exams, right? So as long as you are studying at that time, then it would इट विल गारंटी यू गुड रिजल्ट्स जो कि फ्यूचर में मिलने हैं। तो सब इमोशंस को सही से रेगुलेट करना, और साथ साथ अपने आप का भी जानना कि लाइक बीइंग सेल्फ अवेयर एंड देन आल्सो बीइंग एम्पैथेटिक टू अदर पीपल and understanding everyone's perspectives by like just giving them space, and like not just being the person जो कि सबको बस like force करता है। The ability to understand your peers and their actions and their behavior, like why they do what they do, is the basis of emotional intelligence. Now talking about resilience, resilience is all about जो भी आपके path में कांटे, thorns and जो भी obstacles आए, उन सारी एडवर्सिटी और बुरे वक्तों में आपने बस हौसला रखे रहना है और डिटर्मिन्ड रहना है with positivity of a good future, that कि yes, डर के आगे जीत है, मुश्किल के बाद आसानी है, there is relief after hardship. So just remembering that and not giving into those obstacles, never giving up, is what resilience is. And that's one of the things that make leaders great. Now comes adaptability. Adaptability is like self-explanatory as well, because a leader faces a lot of challenges in their life and like in their career as a leader, and the ability to cope up with them with like and take like a बहुत कम time in coping up with those new challenges that come, like just hit to your face. So that's what adaptability is all about. And also like meanwhile not just adjusting to those challenges yourself, but also like building a team and enabling a team कि वो लोग भी आपकी हेल्प कर सकें उन नए challenges को, उन नए बिल्कुल जो pathways और जो obstacles निकलते हैं उनको, उनसे कोप अप करने में। एंड देन विजन की बात होती है कि अ गुड लीडर, like a true leader does have a vision and the ability to be able to execute it. So having a vision is so important. Why? Because you know your destination. So जो pathway होता है वो figure out हो ही जाता है one way or another. So अब तक is everything clear? Perfect, perfect.
Yes.
Let's move on. सो या अभी मैंने शायद थोड़ा बहुत एक्सप्लेन कर भी दिया, मजीद कर देता हूँ। व्हाट्स द डिफरेंस बिटवीन लीडरशिप वर्सेस एंड अथॉरिटी? सो लाइक पीपल आल्सो आस्क के व्हाट मेक्स a leader and what differentiates a boss from a leader? We've I probably heard this argument a lot of times in our lives. तो उसी की एनालॉजी में देते हुए बताऊंगा कि a boss usually just dictates and gives out orders, but what a leader does is enable their team, जो कि हमने पढ़ी थी लीडर की कुछ qualities, is to inspire, guide and influence. So he builds a team and then encourages them to do those tasks and not just gives out orders. Again, I'm a leader, nahi, I'm a boss. So what I would do ke I would say, Ayan, do this, make a marketing campaign and execute it. That's all I would say. अब उसमें जो भी उसको मुश्किल होगी, परेशानी होगी, it's none of my concern. I'm a boss. I tell him what to do and he does that. But sideways, if I'm a leader, what I would do is I would say that Hadia, you have this task for this week. आपको ये execute करना है, and if you face any problem, you can come to me. I'll guide you about it. That's what makes a leader a leader. A leader gives open space to his peers, his team members, ताकि वो grow कर सकें। क्योंकि जब तक आपकी टीम ही grow नहीं करेगी, then you cannot achieve anything, because they'll just stay as skilled as they are and not grow. तो अगर कोई भी चैलेंज नया फ्यूचर में आता है जो कि वो लोग हैंडल नहीं कर पाते, तो इवेंचुअली होगा क्या कि वो पूरी टीम ब्रेकअप हो जाएगी और वो जो बॉस होगा ना वो प्रोबेबली सब उसको छोड़ के चले जाएंगे एंड ही विल बी लेफ्ट अलोन, लाइक लिटरली। अच्छा, I see some Ifra and Ilsa having like they raise their hands. Do you guys have a question or something? If you don't, you can like put down your hands. Let's continue. I hope that's clear. Now, moving on to section two, leadership theories and styles. So there different sorts of leadership styles as well. I'll discuss them later on. So there's this trade theory about leadership. So जो attributes होते हैं leadership success to inherent qualities like charisma and decisiveness. So what this means is कि hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're perfectly
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. सही perfect perfect. So the trade theory is all about जो आपकी like leadership के मैंने जो traits discuss किए थे. So there are different kinds of leader. तो अब जैसे कि and there are multiple styles as well. I'll go through the styles and then link it to the traits. So we have like four kinds of leadership here. One's autocratic, democratic, transformational and servant. अब अगर आपकी कोई सोसाइटी होगी या कोई कंपनी होगी या कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होगी उसमें नेसेसरी नहीं है कि एक ही स्टाइल की एक ही तरह की लीडरशिप चले. So for different kinds of people and different kinds of groups and different kinds of organizations, we employ different kinds of tactics to lead them. Because आप एक कंपनी अलग तरीके से चलाओगे और आप एक मुल्क अलग तरीके से चलाओगे. So autocratic leadership is when usually होता ही है कि it's a bossy structure kind of thing कि उधर ना ज़्यादा opinions नहीं रखे जाते दिमाग में. There is a vision, the leader has a vision and the path to execute it. So what they do is not take input and just like give out information, and then just most of the focus is on executing tasks. तो उसमें due to the lack of availability of much time and flexibility, creativity जो होती है ना individuals की वो suppress हो जाती है. Because creativity के लिए obviously you have to be flexible in order to for creativity and like for that artistic nature to क्या बोलते हैं come out and like be able to execute. अब दूसरी होती है डेमोक्रेटिक लीडरशिप. इसके बारे में लाइक डेमोक्रेसी जो होती है उसमें होता है कि एग्जैक्टली जो टीम इनपुट होता है वो इनकरेज किया जाता है, ओपिनियंस लिए जाते हैं और फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी होती है. एंड लाइक द होल सेटअप इज लाइक अ टीम, लाइक प्रोबेबली अ ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स बिल्डिंग अ स्टार्टअप. तो उसमें यही होता है कि क्रिएटिविटी के लिए फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी होती है, सो इट्स बीइंग able to execute. लेकिन obviously every type and style of leadership has their own pros and cons. Then comes our transformational leadership, जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा लॉन्ग टर्म विजन पे फोकस किया जाता है. दे सेट आउट अ लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान, अ लॉन्ग टर्म विजन लाइक फॉर अ 5 year plan, a 5 year vision, and they make goals and they bring about a system to learn at the same time as they're working. So basically यहाँ पर project based learning हो रही होगी क्योंकि नए challenges आप face करेंगे obviously, and हर दफा जरूरी नहीं है कि you are equipped with all of the skills that are required to be able to execute that, like to be able to complete that challenge or that objective. So what you will be needed to do is learn at that same point when you're working at that problem, ताकि आप उसको solve कर सको. So उसके साथ साथ फिर आप में like वो systems जो होंगे और वो जो एक system होगा of like ongoing learning. So that comes within transformational leadership. अब इसको govern करने के multiple तरीके भी हो सकते हैं. You can either use autocratic leadership or democratic as well. Then comes our servant leadership, जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा जो community based basically इसमें focus होता है, जिसमें we focus more on the community rather than the vision. तो इसमें यही होता है कि it's all mostly about empowerment एंड अबाउट ह्यूमन रिसोर्स के कैसे वो लोग ग्रो करते हैं. तो अगर आप फॉर एग्जांपल कैसे बोलूं, जैसे कि लाइक देयर इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स हु वांना गो लाइक स्टार्ट जिमिंग. तो उसमें लीडरशिप जो अगर कोई लीडर चुनते हैं, a person or a friend that's been going to the gym for like 3 years, तो उसमें जो लीडरशिप स्टाइल होगा ना, it would be more servant leadership स्टाइल का, बिकॉज वो चार बंदे रोज कोलैबोरेट करके जिम जा रहे होंगे, दे विल बी हैविंग लाइक जॉइंट सेशंस, वर्किंग आउट सेशंस। तो उसमें लाइक देयर इज नो गोल एज सच कि भाई हमें 5 साल में ये एग्जीक्यूट करना है। उसमें ये है कि वी जस्ट हैव टू बिल्ड अ नाइस फिजिक एंड वी हैव टू बिल्ड द हैबिट ऑफ लाइक हिटिंग द जिम 5 times a week। तो उधर जो लीडरशिप स्टाइल मोस्ट सूटेबल रहेगा इन दैट सेटिंग्स ऑफ इनफॉर्मल सेटिंग भी है और फ्रेंड्स की भी है, तो उसमें मोस्टली जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ें चाहिए होंगी वो ट्रस्ट होगी, कोलैबोरेशन होगी और एक विलिंगनेस टू ग्रो होगी कॉमन सब में। तो उसमें जो मोस्ट सूटेबल लीडरशिप स्टाइल रहेगा वो सर्वेंट लीडरशिप रह सकता है। सो लिंकिंग दिस टू थ्योरीज, तो जो ट्रेड थ्योरी है, इट्स अबाउट आप जिस लीडर में किस तरह के ट्रेड्स हैं, तो वो लीडर एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप की ही लीडरशिप स्टाइल की लीडरशिप ही कर पाएगा। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ अ पर्सन इज लाइक अ वेरी एरोगेंट और क्या बोलते हैं, हु डज नॉट वांट टू बी ऑर्डर्ड, सो द मोस्ट प्रोबेबल leadership style suitable to him would be autocratic, जिसमें he acts as a boss and not as a leader, because he does not want to listen no's and this and that. He just wants to get his job done, and he'll have a very direct approach to accomplishing that. Then the behavioral theory suggests that um, there are different क्या बोलते हैं, there are different behaviors और aspects जो कि किसी भी लीडरशिप स्टाइल को डिक्टेट करते हैं कि इफ इट इज गोना सूट अ सर्टेन सिचुएशन और नॉट। सो इन अ सर्टेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अगर आपके पास कोई ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट आ जाता है जिसमें एक अलग टाइप की बिल्कुल लीडरशिप चाहिए होती है, सो दैट्स व्हाई व्हेन sometimes companies hire project managers as well, because the kind of project they're executing does not require them to be certainly, autocratic and like very direct, but probably creative and more open। तो ऑब्वियसली जब आपका बॉस है कंपनी का ऐसा कि वो पूरा लाइक बॉसी मूड एंड एटीट्यूड है उसका, एंड ही इज नॉट दैट क्रिएटिव, एंड अब आपके पास एक ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट आ गया है जो कि रिक्वायर्स क्रिएटिविटी, रिक्वायर्स स्पेस एंड फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी। अब ये जो ट्रेड्स हैं ये ऑब्वियसली आपके एक बॉस में नहीं है, जो कि एक बहुत ही कोई लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स टेक एन आईटी कंपनी या नेटवर्किंग की कंपनी कोई चला रहा है, तो उधर फिर वील नीड अ न्यू काइंड ऑफ लीडर जो कि उस फ्रेंडली इन्वायरमेंट को कल इनकलकेट लाइक कल्टिवेट कर सके अपनी टीम में, ताकि वो वाला प्रोजेक्ट एग्जीक्यूट हो सके। सो द बिहेवियर थ्योरी सजेस्ट ऑल इन ऑल के डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए वी नीड डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ लीडरशिप्स एंड डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ लीडर्स, जो कि हमने अभी यहाँ पर स्टाइल्स पढ़े एंड द टाइप्स ऑफ लीडर्स। And then transformational leadership theory links to the transformational leadership style, and it's sometimes somewhat the same, where the teams are उनको साथ साथ grow करना है and exceed those expectations and just embracing lifelong learning while being the part of that community or the organization. Section 3, reflective case studies and leadership. So here I'll be going through what 3 stages of my life where I was acting as a leader, and like what it taught me, like obstacles I faced, and like how it made me who I am. So I founded Jawan Foundation. It's a social welfare organization uh, around 2 years ago. And as a teenager, like the biggest challenge I was facing was building an NGO style of social welfare with limited resources. But what I had was a strong friend circle. I was very social when I was in school, when I was in college. So I got that support when I needed them. So there was this problem we were facing with getting volunteers, and we had a project जो कि beach drive थी, beach cleanup. Tides of Change 2024 नाम था. So Udhar we needed a proper team and I didn't have any much volunteers. So what we did was I like set up an entire structure for Jawan. Now we operate education and then enabling them to learn more. So 2 years ago, I hadn't imagined कि हम इस स्केल पर पहुंच जाएंगे जहाँ जहाँ पर जाके हम स्कूल्स और इंस्टीट्यूट्स और एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स और कॉलेजेस से कोलैबोरेट करे होंगे. बैक देन मैं सिर्फ ये था कि मेरे साथ लोग आ जाएं एंड आई डू व्हाट आई डू. सो द फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट वी डिड वाज ईद की खुशी ड्राइव वेयर कॉमनली जो फूड और क्लोथिंग हमने डोनेट वगैरह की थी. बट आवर सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट बहुत लार्ज स्केल था और बहुत डिफिकल्ट भी था, विच वाज द बीच ड्राइव. तो उधर I needed a team and I didn't have one. So what I did was build an entire structure and then I put out a form about a volunteer program. We marketed that form, me and three friends, and then uske baad se we just kept getting volunteers. And then we built a team and we were able to execute a beach drive, which was probably Karachi's biggest beach drive yet because we had collaborated with Pakistan Navy and two other NGOs. So, like the total amount of volunteers for the beach drive we got to participate at CVO Karachi was more than 1800. और अभी तक इससे ज़्यादा रिपोर्ट नहीं हो चुके हैं. और हमने कोई सीवीयू की कोई 5 किलोमीटर्स से ज़्यादा रेडियस का पूरा क्लियर किया था नियर निशान पाकिस्तान. हमारी सेरेमनी होती है एंड ऑल. सो दिस वाज समथिंग जो कि एक 17 साल के सैफान ने एग्जीक्यूट की थी और इट वाज प्रोबेबली वन ऑफ माय बिगेस्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स एट दैट टाइम. इससे बड़ा मैंने कोई प्रोजेक्ट ना किया था, ना लिया था, ना हो पाया था. So this was something which taught me a lot of lessons because meanwhile I learned how to build a team because people were working in my team from Bahawalpur, from different areas in Pakistan. Punjab ke do ladke the, and I had a two girls who were working as our fundraising coordinators from Abtabad. So it was like we had volunteers from all over Pakistan. So we got a lot of funds as well and were able to execute the project with flying colors. But the main thing which made this a huge success was resilience and the proper approach to leadership because I wasn't the guy forcing my friends and my peers to just get things done, but I was like enabling them and encouraging them. Literally, the graphic designers I took in as volunteers didn't even know how what a design like what a carousel post on Instagram is. So I literally made an entire YouTube playlist and I gave the resource to them so that they can learn as they go. And then they turned out to be really good graphic designers, and now they're working paid jobs in like with two Instagram creators and building their like social media content and all. So like I also got this sense of accomplishment. Why? Because those were my volunteers. I hired them. I was the one leading them, and I enabled them. And eventually, उनके लिए multiple opportunities खुल के आई. So the key takeaway from all this project specifically was that when you set a goal and you also have a vision and know what to do and also just build a team to help you out in doing that, then it's one way or another you're gonna be able to execute it. हमें 100 मसले आए, हमें बस एंड डे पे बस नहीं मिल रही थी, ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑब्वियसली 1500 लोगों को फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर कराची एक जगह लाना, वो भी सीवीयू डीएचए फेज 5 निशान पाकिस्तान सुबह के 8 बजे was a very big issue क्योंकि we had students of age 12 13 14 बच्चे लड़कियां लड़के सब. And then it was a huge issue. Why? Because मुश्किल बहुत होता है इतने सारे लोगों को गैदर करना, और अगर आप एक 100 बच्चों की बस भी हायर करें तो इट प्रोबेबली टेक्स अराउंड 20,000 रुपीज फॉर वन बस. तो वी वर एबल टू execute that, like cope up with that challenge as well. काफी टाइम लगा. We were able to get Pakistan Navy to collaborate with us. We were able to get 7 sponsors for this event as well. And in all, we were able to successfully execute it. और सबसे बड़ा मुश्किल टीम बिल्डिंग था जो कि हम उसमें अच्छे से कर ली थी. So this was how it changed me as a leader as well, and I learned a lot through this. Then I was the student council head boy in O levels and then the deputy head boy in A levels as well. So my job was basically to govern, like not govern, just kind of lead a student body of 700 when I was in O levels and a student body of 400 when I was doing my A levels. So here, what I mostly learned was professional stuff because I was there attending events for my college, representing my campus, organizing different events, and leading a student body who were willing to grow and grow out of their shells. So, leading a group of teenagers while being a teenager yourself is not just, like it's not just professional, but it's a lot of fun as well because I made a lot of memories when I was like leading this. I would call them friends and not my team members because the whole idea around it was that we're a family and this is our home and we have to run it successfully. So usme we were able to do academic stuff as well, academic events as well. We were able to host Beacon House के काफी सारे events. Recently School of Tomorrow भी हुआ था कराची में, one of the biggest events that happened in 2024 because we had a lot of big names coming. तो and then हमारे कॉलेज और स्कूल के भी काफी सारे events. तो like the whole idea of planning for these events and executing them, Olympiads, STEM Olympiads, entrepreneurship ke events, was that it enabled me as a leader to work with different kinds of teams because I would be there working with public speaking की team, and I would also be at the same time working with STEM students जो कि nerdy होते हैं और like उनके STEM events होते हैं. तो मेरे अंदर like interpersonal skills और adaptability of working with different kinds of people had increased a lot. So my key takeaways from this was that a leader has to be dynamic and has to know how to work with different kinds of people because being a leader or like being a leader does not necessarily mean कि आप एक लैपटॉप के पीछे बैठे होंगे most of the time and you'll be running an organization or stuff. It can also mean कि आप रिक्शे में जाके 11th आवर में अपनी टीम या अपने प्रोजेक्ट या अपने इवेंट को सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए कोई बहुत ही सिली सी चीज लेने जाएं, जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही है और उधर हार लाना भूल गया है कोई, तो the act of going in a raksha and like buying that har yourself while being the leader of your team should not make you falter, but it should like make you feel कि हाँ यार this is something that I am doing, so मैं ये कर रहा हूँ तो इसमें कोई बुरी बात या कोई छोटी बात नहीं है. So that's one of the key takeaways because I was the guy जो कि like कुछ भी mess up होता था तो obviously it will all be on me, right? तो इसमें responsibility वाली जो sense है वो बहुत like I learned about it, and yeah, it was challenging but at the same time thrilling as well. Then I founded my like an entrepreneurship society in my college as well, जो कि काफी successful अभी तक रह चुकी है. We were able to execute a foosball tournament, पट्टी, if you guys know about it. तो अभी तक कराची में कभी हुआ नहीं है पट्टी tournament as far as I know. So were the first college to be doing this kind of a competition. So we had teams from 5 to 7 schools and colleges, and it was a successful event. I had a team of around 15 people who were working for this event, and उनको सबको साथ ले जाके मीटिंग्स करके सारी चीज़ें फाइनलाइज करवा के स्पॉन्सरशिप्स तो हमने ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी, लेकिन it was a very nice and a good experience doing a बिल्कुल different type of competition, a contest, because इधर obviously एक ऐसी चीज जो कि कभी पहले नहीं हुई हुई, तो उसमें सबसे बड़ा इशू ये होता है कि ऑडियंस कैसे आएगी because it's something new. तो that was one of the challenges we faced, but we were able to get 20 teams to register, alhamdulillah, and the event was a good small success. Right? Yeah. Okay, so the next section is about lessons from the world's greatest leaders. Uh, One of them, our very own Muhammad Ali Jinnah Saab. So yeah, we all know about Mr. Jinnah, Qaid-e-Azam. So he was literally your average boy living in like Barre Sagir ke Musalman no mein se. So all he had was a vision and the drive to make this nation like freedom was his goal, because before 1947 we know how the conditions of the Indian subcontinent were, and kitne political instability thi. World War One, then we had World War Two. उसमें इतनी सारी बीच में wars भी हुई. The War of Independence of 1857, and then there were Hindus targeting Muslims, then British पूरे ही आ गई. So meanwhile, we had this guy working in his room with a lamp and a kitab and just studying all the time and grinding basically. All he had was a vision of Pakistan with some peers, like-minded peers like Liaquat Ali Khan and others. So he also had a team. They founded the Muslim League, and eventually Pakistan ban gaya. तो what made him stand out? Obviously, एक पूरी nation बना देना, उसको independent बना देना is a big deal. It's a very big deal. तो इसके लिए the most important thing is resilience. Not giving up when everyone tells you कि ये impossible चीज है. Because सबसे ज़्यादा I believe कि खुशी तब होती है when you achieve something which the other people said कि it's impossible to achieve. Because एक feeling ऐसी आती है कि मैंने वो काम किया है जो कि कोई नहीं कर सकता and ना किसी ने पहले किया. So it's something that has never happened before, and people thought that this was impossible, but I made the impossible possible by defying all of the odds. So that's the kind of leader our Qaid-e-Azam was, and his sole principles were unity, faith, and discipline. उसमें integrity भी बहुत शामिल थी, because he never favored some any act जो कि morals के खिलाफ हो. And he was a very, sophisticated and an intelligent man. He pursued his education regardless of his political standing, and that's one of the things that made him what he was. And like his name now is written in the gold with golden words in the pages of history. And like he just never gave up, right? So that's one of the things we learned from Qaid Azam ke chahe kitni bhi mushkil ho, you should never give up and just stay dedicated to the team you have, the people you are surrounded with, and the vision, especially the vision you have. One more thing I learned from Qaid Azam's journey was कि बंदे का ना purpose था एक. He knew कि ये बंदा normal नहीं है. I'm not just some average Joe. He knew कि I'm Jinnah. तो he knew कि मैंने ये करना है और मैं करूँगा ये. तो he had a sense of purpose. Why did he have that? Because he was self-aware. So as long as you have a purpose and you're working towards it ना, so it does not matter कि आपकी current success या current standing क्या है. अगर आप करते रहे ना उस पर काम अपने purpose को achieve करने के लिए, and so you one way or another आपको success मिलनी है. Because whatever happens, you're still gonna try. And there's a very good saying कि if I never succeed in what I'm doing, the best option for me to live would be to die trying. And I was like, I'm really inspired by this quote as well, because like like ऐसी जिंदगी जीने में लाइक फायदा ही क्या है जिसमें आप लाइक बस चिल करते करते आप आ गए और निकल भी गए यहाँ से, स्टार्ट हो गए, गुजर गए. तो it's really important to be, like do hard things because doing hard things makes you a kind of guy or a kind of girl जो कि डिफिकल्टी को एम्ब्रेस करते हैं. एंड ऑब्वियसली आपके जो दिमाग है उसका प्री फ्रंटल कोर्टेक्स होता है एक, उसमें बेसिकली होता ही है कि व्हेन यू डू हार्ड थिंग्स ना, तो वो जो प्री फ्रंटल कोर्टेक्स होता है दिमाग का हिस्सा, वो ग्रो होता रहता है एंड न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स आपके स्ट्रांग होते रहते हैं. सो योर एबिलिटी टू understand and do complex things increases. And that's one of the things Muhammad Ali Jinnah also, I guess, kind of utilized is कि बंदे ने कभी भी छोटी कोई चीज की नहीं. He like made Muslim League and then made like one of was the visionary of Pakistan, and इनके ही era में पाकिस्तान एक पाकिस्तानी रुपीस was equal to $1, जो कि we all know कि सबसे बड़ी बात है. अभी 200 like 272 rupees are equal to a dollar. So you guys can know कि भाई it was an era. Okay, then we have Nelson Mandela. तो जो कि जिसने लाइक ब्लैक लाइव्स मैटर वाली जो है वो बहुत पहले से चली थी. तो इसने साउथ अफ्रीका में कोई आफ्टर स्टेइंग इन प्रिजन फॉर 27 years, he led his life with humility. He forgave all of his oppressors and built a community, and like he stood up for people who like were his from his community, but at the same time were the ones जिनकी वजह से imprisonment में गया था ये. लेकिन at the same time he had this vision कि मैंने इनको like आज़ाद करवाना है, and I want freedom from them for them. I want their basic human rights to be awarded properly, and I want everything that's good for them. So he stood with his mission like Adi Azam. He never gave up, and he always stayed, stood empathetic towards everyone. He was like, I don't remember कि violent protests या something of that sort इसने किया हो, because he was a very peaceful guy as well. Malala Yousafzai, probably you guys have probably heard about her as well. She was targeted by the Taliban for advocating girls' education. और इसका like काफी इसने book भी लिखी है. And despite facing like life-threatening circumstances and challenges in early life and teenage life, she continued her journey to pursue education. And once she had kind of like build up on that success, she thought of giving back to the community. She made her personal brand. She made herself stood out by voicing for the right of women to education. And right now she's one of the most influential people in the world, and like she's doing multiple projects in empowering girls and women in Pakistan and other regions जहाँ पर बहुत discrimination होती है gender की basis पर. तो इसकी जो core leadership principles थी वो advocacy थी, the ability to be being able to speak, and courage, bahadri. So she never like was fearful, but like she was fearful, but she did not let those fears of like Taliban or other fears um succumb to her like nature, or like did not let her make her like just give up on her dreams. उसने हमेशा advocate किया for women's education and the right to basic education for girls in Pakistan as well. And she spoke up when no one was like, when no one या फिर बहुत कम लोग बोल रहे थे. And she stood out. She worked on herself as well. She wrote many books. She has written a lot of articles. She has collaborated with governments and influential people for the benefit of the community. So, and she has like the Malala Fund. She's founded the Malala Fund as well. So she's still working, and we can take lessons from her journey and her leadership as well. कि कभी भी आपको डरना नहीं चाहिए to speak up for against injustice. Moving on, we're gonna talk a bit about empowering teams. Just give me a 2 seconds. Yeah, let's continue. Empowering teams. So, building collaborative teams comes down to building trust and empowering others around you. तो इसमें मोस्टली जो बात होती है वो होती है कि गिविंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गिविंग एवरीवन अ चांस टू प्रूव देमसेल्व्स एंड देन हेल्पिंग देम आउट ग्रो एट द सेम टाइम पूरी टीम एक साथ जो ग्रो करेगी एंड लाइक एक सॉर्ट ऑफ healthy relationship build हो जाएगा between the team and the leader because they would know कि their opinions what they hear will be heard and they will be encouraged and their ideas will be listened. So all in all जो एक sense और एक vibe पूरी team की बनेगी it would be around growth and you know a healthy basic relationship with all of the members. And then delegating effectively जो कि लाइक डेलीगेटिंग मतलब कि जो टास्क्स होते हैं वो आप इफेक्टिवली डेलीगेट करो एज इन यू गिव द काइंड ऑफ टास्क टू द काइंड ऑफ
हाँ
पर्सन
मेरी मीटिंग चल रही पई मीटिंग में
डू
कैंसिल
कर
हो
सके.
गई
Yeah, we're just finishing in quite a few minutes. Yeah. So yeah, match responsibility to strengths. जो task, for example, like a technical task है, so you're gonna probably end up doing well when you give it to the kind of person जो कि technical है, उसको technical knowledge है. कोई creative task है जैसे like making, for example, ग्राफिक डिजाइनिंग की कोई चीज़ है तो ऑब्वियसली आप उन बंदों को दो जो कि उसमें स्किल्ड हैं. तो डेलीगेटिंग टास्क इफेक्टिवली मींस कि आप जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ हैं वो अपनी टीम मेंबर्स की स्ट्रेंथ्स के साथ मैच करें और प्रॉपर डेडलाइंस और ऑब्जेक्टिव्स और एक्सपेक्टेशंस कम्युनिकेट करें क्लियरली टू ऑल ऑफ द मेंबर्स और द डेलीगेटेड मेंबर. और जो रिसोर्सेज और फीडबैक आप दे सकते हैं उनके काम पर प्रीवियस और करंट भी दें साथ साथ ताकि उनकी नरिशमेंट और हेल्प हो सके. Ethical leadership and then okay, okay, then it's gonna end. Okay. Ethical leadership section 6 is ethical leaders earn long-term respect by consistently upholding honesty, fairness and accountability. It's basically कि आप किसी को यूज नहीं करते, you always utilize people and सब कुछ around the principles of morals, good morals आप चलाते हैं for your team. So some of the principles for fair and equal and ethical leadership include equal opportunities for recognition and growth, transparent decision making processes, and acknowledgement of team member contributions to collective success. Like you acknowledge them and not just say कि भाई ये काम आपने किया है तो आपके बॉस ने ही किया है. If a marketing manager of a company is allotted some tasks, so that manager is basically his team, their team leader. So if it's their responsibility to communicate that a certain team member has built this campaign to the फाइनल बॉस या फिर फाइनल जो सीईओ है कंपनी का, ताकि उस सीईओ को पता चल जाए कि एक्चुअली काम किसने किया था और इतनी जो सक्सेस हुई है वो किस मेंबर की वजह से आई है. सो दैट्स वन ऑफ द थिंग्स जो कि इन्वॉल्व करती है बेसिक मोरल्स एंड एथिक्स को फॉलो करना इन लीडरशिप व्हाइल बीइंग अ लीडर. Some tools for self improvement as a leader can be reflective practices कि आप ऐसी practices ले अपनाएं जो कि you can just think about what you've done in the past and learn from it. So has helped me as well is journaling daily. जो भी leadership के भी experiences होते हैं या जो भी challenges या setbacks होते हैं उनको आप like literally write them down and figure ways you can solve it. So I have this habit of making flowcharts and mapping stuff on my notebook. Black color ki notebook hai meri ek. So it's all filled with webs and flowcharts and numbered lists or bullet points. जो कि it's basically journaling to reflect on my leadership experiences and other stuff. इसके अलावा you can seek constructive feedback from peers and mentors that would help you कि भाई identify where you were lacking so that you can improve on them, and then setting actionable goals to measure growth ताकि आपको पता हो कि this is where you've come and this is where you go, so this is the distance between your destination and your current position, so all you need to do is this, that and that ताकि आप ये सब achieve कर लो and you like achieve your ultimate goals. Acha, so continuous learning, embracing lifelong learning is one of the things a good leader should have, should do. Sorry for the interruption. So, what has helped me is learning from books. जैसे कि self help books होती हैं and books on personal finance, books on entrepreneurship, books on leadership as well, books on building good habits, and just not just that fictional stuff, and books on psychology as well. So, being able to communicate yourself well and be a good leader is कि you should have like a bit of knowledge ताकि आप खुद एक knowledgeable person हो to be able to deal with other intelligent people. Yeah, मैंने तो already the lifelong leadership journey. Leadership is not a, a title but a responsibility. Like if you dedicate one time कि yeah भाई I'm a leader, and if you call a leader, so it's not something जो कि you can quit when you have to, because every person one time or another is a leader. Because if you're a brother, if you're an elder brother, so you're the leader for your younger siblings. If you're a father, you're a leader for your entire family, your kids and your wife. If you're a mother, or if you're a sister, you're a leader to your younger siblings, your um and your children. So humans, one way or another, are leaders of other people. So हर किसी को लीडरशिप के बारे में सीखना चाहिए, उसको embrace करना चाहिए, and they should just never give up on their team members, the people they are leader of and are leading. So if anyone has any questions, this marks the end of the session. And yeah, if you guys have any question, you can ask me for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll close off this session. उससे पहले, if I get some feedback from all of you, so it would be perfect. How did you like the session? How we can improve? Anything? Okay, I'm gonna go quickly through the chat. I see some questions over here. Oh, thank you, Hania. Hania, sorry, Hania. Maham Niazi has asked how to beat social anxiety as an introvert. I was once an introvert as well. It comes down to being self-aware, honestly, and just knowing कि जो भी आपकी intrusive thoughts आ रही हैं, the other person is also thinking all of that. So you're no different than those people which you're so afraid of or anxious of. Um, how to do collaborations with different organizations work, contact, etc., and how sponsorships work as well. They go collaborating with different organizations. So the first thing you should know is what your project is about, and uske relatively ही आप organizations को approach करो. For example, if I'm having a sports competition, I will have affiliated sports sponsors. जैसे कि कोई अगर जिम हो गया, या फिर कोई स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स, या जैसे पवेलियन हो गया, या समथिंग जो कि स्पोर्ट्स से रिलेटेड है, वही लोग स्पॉन्सर करें, लेकिन डिफरेंट भी हो सकते हैं. So how this works is कि just you go to their office, yeah, you call them and you put out your proposal. You especially tell them the amount of people you have. Like for example, if it's an event, so people would sponsor you. Definitely, people, companies or organization would sponsor you. लेकिन उसके लिए they need a head count कि हाँ भाई 1,000 लोग आ रहे हैं या 2,000 लोग आ रहे हैं. Because obviously आपको 100 लोगों के लिए कोई भी कभी भी ना 2 लाख रुपए नहीं देगा. They would hardly give, like even consider you to like give out money to you. So अगर आपके पास एक अच्छी audience आ रही है, so then only you can get sponsorships. And एक like initially what I would suggest कि you go to their office, talk it out with them, have some registrations on your hand. Yeah, but you discuss it with them because different organizations honestly have different policies to sponsor people. How did you finance yourself? I self-financed it initially, and then we relied a bit on donations. And then उसके बाद से हमने projects ही ऐसे किए जिनमें पैसे ज़्यादा नहीं खर्च होते. Collaborating with other people. Thank you. Can I be a leader in my class even if I'm an introvert and shy? I don't know how to speak properly. Because in order to be a good leader, you need to be able to communicate your ideas effectively. And if you cannot communicate, तो वो एक चीज़ बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा you would feel कि you don't have it, and like you won't be able to be a good leader because आप communicate नहीं कर पा रहे. So the first thing you need to do is not become a leader, but become a good at communication. So one way you can do that is read books and just talk to yourself in front of the mirror every day for 10 minutes. And trust me, if you do this for 1 month, you're going to see success and you're going to see improvement. Because I wasn't in like a socially introvertish type of guy. I was like, I didn't even know, I couldn't speak English for like 10 seconds straight. मैं बहुत stutter करता था. मेरी vocabulary बहुत weak थी. All I did was talk to myself in front of the mirror in English, read some books, and Google hard words that I came up while reading those books, and learned good vocabulary. And that's all, honestly, if a beginner needs to improve communication skills in English. Yeah, Marcel, thank you. Thank you. Good advice. How to become a paid content writer? Okay. I cannot guide you on how to earn as a paid content writer. Come on. So, like, we should end the session now. Thank you all for attending. Allah Hafiz.